How you going? It's Richard Mark Tuturgi and welcome to Getting Raw. Today I'm with industry legend expert Justin Tamsett.
G'day.
Now, if you're in the Twitter world, if you're on the phones, you'll know Justin from there. Justin is a mad Twitterer and he's a connector. That's what he does. But if you've been in the industry, Justin's been around for a while, and Justin runs JT Active Management at the moment. But I want to know what his story is and really what he does, because he does a lot of things. You do a lot of things. You're always doing different things.
Different things, man. Too many.
Always in different states, and there's always a face-to-face sort of guy. So I want to sort of talk about that as well. So, but at the moment, basically what you do consulting for gyms, business owners. Is that correct?
Yeah, no.
Okay, tell me.
Yeah, no.
I'm confused.
Yeah, well, and probably to a certain degree I am too. I would differentiate between consulting and coaching. Consulting to me is that I actually go in and give the answer. Coaching says I go in and I teach you to find the answer yourself.
Got you.
So, as a consultant, it usually means you're on a retainer and you keep coming in and just keep giving that information and those results. But as a coach, I actually plan to make myself redundant. But I give you enough skills that you don't need me anymore.
I like that. That's a very good definition.
Yeah, and so that's my goal. So, which is actually a problem, because in the fitness industry, a lot of independent health club owners want a consultant. They want the answers and they want someone to give them the answers so they can get the return on investment now. Whereas well, I could do that, but that doesn't help you grow as a person or as a professional.
And you've got to keep working.
And I've got to keep working. Which is actually good because I keep making money. It makes everybody happy, especially at home. But yeah, realistically, I prefer coaching. I prefer working with people and trying to help them get the ideas and get the understanding to then do the implementation.
And what do you work on? What's the focus? Is it business, like marketing aspects?
Yeah, look, I would say predominantly is marketing, but also strategic development, differentiating themselves. I think one of the problems in the fitness industry is we're all so similar. We all have treadmills, we all have dumbbells. It's all exactly the same. The differentiation comes in often the service, but also the packaging. So I really try to work on people on how to package their product differently, so they don't sell memberships, they sell programs, and hopefully that can then get them more people active. My mission in life is to decrease the healthcare costs for Australia. So that's why I do what I do, and I just happen to offer coaching as the service.
Let's talk a bit more about that. You've been 20 years in the industry. That's a while. So you were in the Lycras back in the day?
No, look, I started when I was only 5.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. You were doing kids fitness, weren't you? You were teaching.
Yeah. No, the first gym that I was at was How's That Fitness World in Newcastle. Right. And my very first job was sweat boy. So towels were not compulsory, and so my job was to go around and wipe the equipment off during a circuit class, which was pretty gross before.
That was one of the main roles, wasn't it? It was one of the main things you actually have to learn is how to wipe the equipment down.
That's right.
It's a very important part.
Critical part of your career path. But I never forget that gym because it was in 1989 that I started, and women would come into the facility, go into the change rooms and come out with more makeup on and less clothing. It was so cool, and the G-string leotards that had strategically cut so bits of flesh would come out. Oh,
I don't remember the days. I was only 9.
Well, I was 18, so my hormones are racing through my body. I'm going, this is a great job being sweat boy for this. But my very first fitness assessment was a lady who was she probably would have been about 60 kilos overweight. She was a really, really large lady. Her name was Fiona. And I'll never forget it. I couldn't get the blood pressure monitor to go around her arm. Right. And I didn't know what to say. This is my very first ever fitness assessment that I've done in public. And then then I had to do a skin fold test. So I do sub-scat skin fold test. And the skin calipers wouldn't open far enough.
So then this much, don't
yeah. I'm like, you need industrial size. And she turned around and she said, don't worry, just put down heaps. And I went, oh, you make me feel so much better.
Is that what you said to her?
Yeah. Because she could see how awkward I was feeling.
Right.
because I was brand new in the fitness industry. This is my second or third week working, and I've got this.
Yeah.
And you're not trained to deal with.
Hasn't it really come a long way? Like.
Well, I think it has in a way, but in another way, it's that communication to be able to make people who are overweight or unfit feel comfortable.
Right.
And she really made me feel comfortable. And it should have been the other way around.
Sure.
And what was really cool is, like, over the next 18 months, she lost 60 kilos, went from a size 20 down to a size 12. And it was at that point there I went, you know what, this is a pretty cool industry.
Take me through 2 bad mistakes you've had owning a club. Like, bad, negative experiences, lost a lot of money.
Lost a
bit
lot.
Random question, I know.
No, and I can tell you the first mistake I made was in our very first marketing piece, brand new club. Marketing piece goes out. Actually, it was our second club. So it wasn't even our first club, so I've really got no excuse for this. But our second club, we'd open, we put this beautiful flyer out. It was our Open Now flyer. Out it goes. Lots of good features about the club, great benefits about the club.
Beautifully designed,
beautiful,
colours.
professional,
yeah.
On brand, perfect.
Of course.
Forgot to put the address on there.
And there was no website back then, was there?
No website, but we had the phone number.
Oh well, that's all right.
And my business partners at the time, who were my mum and dad, my mum said, "There's no address on this."
After you printed it.
Oh, after we printed 80,000 of these brochures.
80,000 brochures.
Yes, 80,000 brochures with no
address. And you
address.
came home and said, listen mum, look at mine, yeah, check it out. And she goes, yeah, what's the address? And she gets back to cooking it.
Yeah. And I said, well, mum, you see, you don't go to any fitness conventions, so you don't know about the fitness industry. Here's how it works. We want people to ring up, and then we give them the address. And she's like, you're so full of it, Justin. So yeah, that was probably...
All right, so really check your documentation by your mother beforehand.
Yeah. Well, actually, when I talk about marketing, I always say, give whatever marketing piece you've designed to a 12-year-old, someone who can only just learn to read.
That's a really good idea.
And if a 12-year-old can read your marketing piece, and at the end of it you say, now what do you have to do, they know exactly what to do. If they know that they then have to pick up the phone or go to your email or go to your website or walk into the club, if they can tell you, then it's a clear message. If they can't tell you,
that's a golden nugget. I like that. What's number
you can
two?
use that.
I will use that. I'll rebrand that.
You rebrand that. Second one really came down to, and this was a really expensive and personal mistake that I made, and that was, I was of the belief, because I love work. I just love doing what I do, and to the point where I go, well, it's actually not work. This is fun.
Sure.
I love it.
I think a lot of people in the situation.
Yeah, because we're passionate about what we do.
Passionate. That's why we're in the industry, aren't we?
Yeah, and I let my health get in the way. Well, I didn't look after my health, and I got a chronic illness. And when I was in hospital, I said to the doctor, what causes this? And they said, we really don't know. We don't know what causes this illness at all. And so I was talking to the nurses and trying to do some research, and what we found out when I researched was that it's an illness that's caused by stress.
Really?
And I had never ever considered myself stressed. Ever considered myself stressed. And if you talk to many of my staff, they said the only time Justin was stressed was the day before the debits came in from EasyPay. When they come in, that's the great day. And they said that's the only time you were stressed. But obviously, I had manifested the stress internally, which had eaten away my insides basically, and I had no idea. I had no idea I was crook, and because I was running on energy, running on adrenaline, because I just loved what I did. Never took time out for myself. And so it wasn't expensive in the sense of money, but it was expensive in the sense of my health. I now take medication and will for the rest of my life. The Australian taxpayer, thank you down there. You're contributing. You're going to pay $276,000 to keep me alive until I'm 80 because of the medication and the PBS. And so I feel really guilty now, but at the time I did not feel stressed. But I just never took time out for myself. Right. I never really got away from work and had a holiday regularly enough, and all those types of things.
That's a huge mistake, I think. But you know what? You know, in these interview series, I like to ask that question because generally the biggest mistake is something that's changed the business or your life. And you just said before that your number one, you know, thing that you're after is obviously to decrease the healthcare in Australia.
Which is paradoxical because I'm increasing it myself.
You're increasing it, but obviously that's come from a mistake, which now you want to pass on to others, saying don't do this and let's get healthy, let's get active.
Yeah. And the problem in our industry is we are so passionate about what we do. Talk to personal trainers. There was an idea survey that came out, and they said that the majority of personal trainers reduce the amount of exercise they do once they become a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Because it's the last thing they want to be doing.
Yeah,
so you need a hobby, you need an outlet, you need something outside of business, which I also believe keeps you more productive and keeps your mind fresher. And I look back now and go, I wonder if I would have made more money, I wonder if I would have been more successful as a business if I'd taken more time out of the business.
And we were speaking the other day, and we were talking about, you know, pushing, getting push, and you're working for this big goal, and then then you got to have that rest, and that rest period is when you actually recuperate, recover, and actually then can go again, and you can think clearer as well. So it is vitally important. But with an industry like this, when you're passionate, when you're out doing the aerobics with the leotards, when you're doing the personal training clients, you don't think it's work.
You don't, and it's.
But it is work.
It is work, and you got to take that time out for yourself. It's my biggest regret in life, and now it's, you know, it doesn't give me a disabled sticker, so I can't park in disabled parking. But it's there, and it's medication. It doesn't affect what I eat. It means that I can't drink alcohol anymore, which many of my friends are happy about. But it's an interesting situation to be in, and it's something that I never ever imagined myself in. And
especially getting involved in the industry.
Because you're active, and you know, I was teaching classes, I was active, but the stress was manifesting itself and never came out. I never released it. So I really encourage everybody out there who's watching the Raw to have that outlet, to have that time out from the business for themselves. But I honestly believe it will also improve the productivity and the efficiency of your own business.
It will definitely improve that. All right, that's some good two big mistakes. So going forward now, obviously you've got active management, and how many clubs and I guess people you're dealing with on a sort of monthly basis?
We've got about 50 clients that we work with at varying levels. Everything from doing one-to-one coaching to group coaching, and coaching weekly, monthly, fortnightly. So, you know, we pretty much help a lot of different people.
Sounds good. Well, Justin's another expert on Meet Your Fitness marketing as well, so you can check him out. And if you're not on Twitter as well, you're on there. You connect, so you find him on there, and all your problems will be solved over there. So. Yep,
love to see you on Twitter. I'm at JT Active MGMT, Active Management.
And your website, what's that?
Active Management MGMT, so ACTIVE MGMT.com.au.